Students of Web 29. I am going to be walking you through this project right here, this Rick and Morty project, and I am hoping that this helps you with your sprint on Friday. This is what the project's going to look like when we're done. We're going to pull out all of these characters, and we're going to be able to switch between dark mode and light mode. So yeah, I'm going to walk you through this starting repo, and we're going to chug on through. Started. We're going to just clone this. Now you guys can fork it. It doesn't really make a difference, but go ahead if you want to. You can fork it and then you'll have it saved to your repositories. But I'm just going to clone it. And then I'm going to go in here. I'm going to open up my terminal. I'm going to CD into my desktop because that's where I want it to display. And then I'm just going to git clone. And then here it is. It popped up on my other screen, but it's in here. And then I am just going to CD into that. And then I have some instructions for you guys on the README here. Just to get started, you can CD into your project and then npm I. So we're going to do that. We're going to do npm I. And then we are going to finish up with what this says. We're going to CD into Rick and Morty, because if you do ls, you can see one more file down is Rick and Morty. So we're going to do CD. Okay, and then in here we're going to do npm I. And this is probably going to take a little bit for my computer. All right. So once you see that $sign, you're good. Then you can npm start. All right. And here we go. Here's the base of our app. All right. So now that we have that, let's open VS Code. Just drag this over here. And then open up your Rick and Morty app. I'm going to full screen this. And then in here, we'll just go into Rick and Morty, go into your source file, and let's start in app.js. All right, so I'm going to go ahead into our first steps here. And actually, I'm not going to touch this. We're going to make this a class component, but for now, I'm just going to leave it. And we're actually going to build out some components. So when you are, the goal of this app is, I showed you guys, this is how it's going to, this is how it's going to look when we are done. And so you can see, if you go into the console log in here, I have all this character data coming back from the API. So our goal here is to display all of that character data, just like I did on this solution right here. And we want to do that on this one. We want to get it so that we have a component that is mapping through all of the data and is getting the pieces that we want. So in order to do that, we're going to go into our code. and we're going to build out some components. So we're going to make a component folder. I like to organize it like this. I feel like if you keep all of your components in one folder, it's just a lot cleaner. And then in here, I'm going to name this charactercard.js because that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a card for each of our characters. And then to avoid complications, we can just go ahead and we can import React from React. Oh, gotta put that in quotes. And then I'm actually going to export mine at the top because I like to do that. I feel like it keeps it cleaner. And then always make sure that this name right here, this name of your component, your functional component, make sure that it matches your file name. That's just really important for naming conventions, and it keeps everything straight with your imports and your exports. It's just good practice. And then in here, we're going to have a return, and we're going to return an empty div for now. This way, it's just kind of helping you to visualize like we're creating a component for our character cards. And even though we don't have anything in here yet, it's still there. And we're thinking like developers when we're planning out our app and thinking things through. And then we're going to go back in app and we're just going to import that. And since you named it good, you can just import character card from, and you're going to have to go out of this file. Oh, it would help if I put this components into my source. Okay, and that will be helpful. Components, and then go to your character card. I just like to say .js. Okay, and it's not doing anything. It's gray, but you can see we imported it. It's looking good. We know what we're doing. And then also, I'm going to create another component. I'm going to create a navbar component because we are going to want to switch between light mode and dark mode. And I want to store that toggle in my navbar. I don't want it just hanging out. So we're going to just do import React from React. And then I'm going to write this one a little different. I'm going to do const navbar. Oh, okay. Yeah, make sure it matches, guys. Const navbar equals, and then you can just do your empty ones. Open that up, and then here, instead of doing export in the beginning, we're going to do export default navbar. We're going to have to fix some things. It's going to throw me some errors because we're going to need a return here. And an empty div. All right, let's see how our app's looking. Good. Good, plain. All plain and simple. How it should be right now. And then in our app, we're going to go back and we're going to import that navbar. We're not using it, but we're just setting up our app. All right, cool. Looking good. So we had built our navbar. We built this differently. This is just a different way of writing it. You can write it like this, export it at the top, write it like this, export it at the bottom. Just wanted to show you guys two different ways. And then we imported them into our app.js. Now that we have our app set up, we said, okay, we want a character card component and we want a navbar component. Now we're going to get down and dirty. We're going to get to the good business. So in here, we're going to change this app to a class component because that is how it's going to be in your sprint. I'm pretty sure it's already going to be set up for you, but we're just going to go ahead and change this. Oop, not like that. We want it to extend React.component. Now you noticed I did not make navbar character card class components. I'm sticking to functional components and other ones. I prefer to do it that way. I don't really like class components. If you guys want to stretch yourself or you just prefer to do it that way, go ahead, make class components for your character card and navbar. However you want to do it, that's fine with me, as long as you're comfortable with what you're doing. Okay, and then I'm going to make a constructor here. You always need a constructor. And then, oh, not like that. There you go. And then in your constructor, you're going to need a super. And that's just the rules with class components. And then we're going to say this.state. We're going to make that equal this object here. And then we're going to say, I'm just going to make this characters. All right. So what we're doing here is we're setting the state. We're setting initial state to an empty array that we named characters. So just remember that. This is our initial state, and we're setting, in our initial state, we're setting an empty array to characters. And then we need this render. Oh, I always do that. I did that earlier today too. Okay, and I'm just going to do this little format document thing because I'm lazy. I don't want to space all that stuff out manually. Okay, so we got this going on. We got our app changed to a class component. We got our initial state set up. So the only thing left to do is make our Axios call. And we're going to make our Axios call in a component did mount. Axios.get. And then in here, you'll see in your README, oh, wrong way. I have this documentation here for getting all the characters. If you go to this link, you can see the actual URL that we're going to be using here. And we can go in here, we can take a look at it actually. So let's see, we want to get all the characters. And then this right here, you can see you can access the list of characters by using the dash character endpoint. So that means we're just going to copy and paste. And it has this nice little feature where when you highlight, it turns orange. I thought that was nice of them. Okay, and we're going to put that in here. Oh, if I could paste. There we go. Sort of. That sort of worked. There we go. All right. And then we're going to make a then. And we're going to have our response in here. And this is where we're going to bring back in that characters from our state. Oh, I'm missing a piece. Yep. And what I just said gave it away. So since we're bringing that back in from our state, we're going to have to say this dot set state because we're setting our initial state, which is an empty array, to be all the characters that we're getting back from our API. So we're going to set it to response.data, and then we're going to have to console log down here today. I figured that out earlier. I was trying to console log everywhere except for here. I was like, why isn't it working? And then I figured it out. So we're going to have response, we're going to console log that, and then we always need a catch. It's important to have our catch, just in case anybody gets any errors. Console log, and then we're just going to console log that error. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we're getting back. we're getting an error. Axios is not defined. Ah, yes, that is because I forgot a step. I didn't import it, but I can't import it anyway because I also didn't install it. So if you ever get an error like that, Axios is not defined, check in your package.json. And if it's not here in your dependencies, then that's why it's throwing you that error. So we're just going to do npm. Oh, it's not going to work in there because it's an error. You know what? And it's a running server. Let's open up another terminal here. Okay, and then you gotta make sure that you cd into your folder that it has the actual project in it, your root folder right here. So your project is named Rick and Morty, but you have this folder in here, Rick and Morty, or whatever you want, Rick and Morty. And I was just trying to make it a little different. And that actually holds all your project, right? Because when you close it, everything is gone. You can see that, your folder structure. So make sure that you cd into that Rick and Morty one. And then this is when you want to npm Axios. And that will install into this package.json that's inside of your project. Because you can see if you close this, that package.json disappears. So if you're trying to install it out here in your main folder, where it's just Rick and Morty, it's not going to go into a package.json because there is none. And then you just saw it popped up. Axios, yay! All right. So now that that's installed, we can import it. Axios from Axios. Save that, and now it should be working. Okay. And obviously there's nothing on our screen yet because we have not told it what we want it to display. And I labeled it API data. I like doing that. I feel like it's kind of a, I don't know, it stands out. And then you open that up, open this results up, and go in here, and you can see you have an array of 20 with all these key value pairs, all these objects of key value pairs. And if you open up one of these objects, it has all these key value pairs in it. That's what we want. And you'll notice we have to dig a little deep. So you open this up, and then you get info and results and this weird prototype thing. So we don't want info or this other object here. We don't want those two. So let's actually narrow down our search here. And let's console log response.data.results. And let's see what that gets us. Okay. So you can see it immediately changed. We don't have to dig as deep now. We can just click and boom. We get all those names, all those, that whole array of 20 with all those key value pairs in there, right? All those objects. So let's actually make our state. Let's point it directly at those results because that's what we want. We want to, and eventually we're going to have to map through all of these. We're going to have to map through all these characters. So we want it to be pointing directly to where we need it to go. Otherwise, it's going to be very confused when we map. So let's save that. So now that we have this going for us, we're pointing it directly at where we need it to go. Let's go in and actually, you know what? Let's look at our data first because I think that will be most helpful. So we pointed it directly at this array, right? And if you open this up, you can see it went right in here. This is the money, you know. This is where all of our characters are. So, and this is our key value pairs. So these right here, in each character has the same, the same key value pair. Well, not the same value, but they all have the same keys. So we're going to look and we're going to say, all right, which keys do you want to pull out here? In this case, I'm going to pull out the name. I'm going to pull out the species. I'm going to pull out the gender. And I'm going to pull out the image. Actually, I don't know. I might change my mind. But anyway, look in there and see which keys you want to pull out for each character. Because we're going to do that in our character card component. So, let's go into our character card component. And in here, we're going to start building out what we want to pull out. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot something very, very important. So because you're pulling things out in your character card, you're going to want props in your character card. And in order to have props in your character card, I'm saying that word a lot and I'm sorry, but in order to have props in your component, you need to call your component and then you need to create props for your component. You have to name them, right? So in this case, I'm just going to give it one prop and it's going to be the whole entire data. It's going to be this whole entire array of characters. I'm not going to pull out pieces individually in my app. I'm going to do that all in my character card. So I'm going to name this character underscore data, just because I think that describes what we're pulling out the most. We're pulling out all of this data here, all of the character data. And I'm going to say this dot state dot characters. So what that is doing is it's grabbing this instance up here of your state. It's grabbing this right here. It's referring back to your state. And it's saying, okay, grab this whole array of characters. Your whole array of characters. So you're saying this dot state dot characters. Grab all my character data. So that's what it's doing right there. It's grabbing that whole array. And then, since you named that prop character data, and that's your whole array, you're going to have to go into here, to your component, your character card component. You're going to want to pass in props. And then, since in your app, since you passed in that whole array, you can't just begin to pull things out because it's not gonna know. It's gonna throw you a ton of errors. You have to map, because it's an array. You have to map through all of those characters, and you have to say, okay, for each character, every time, for every character that you map over, I want to pull out the character's name. I want to pull out the character's species. I want to pull out the character's gender. You have to say, for everything that you pull out, every character that you pull out of that array, every character that you map over, I want to pull out these specific things. That's what you want to do in character card. So I'm going to walk you guys through how to do that. All right, so this is JSX. So we're going to have to surround everything in little curly braces. And then we're going to do props dot character data, because that is what we named our props, right? If I can spell it, goodness. Character data. Because if you go back to app, you can see my prop, that is this whole entire array. We named it character data. If I change this name to data, then in here I would say props.data, because I am pointing to my prop that I named right here. Sorry, I'm being like so I don't know, loud with this verbose, but I'm really trying to drive that home because I feel like that's something that I see a lot of people struggle with is you're naming your prop here and you're bringing it in here. You're saying props dot whatever you named it. And then right here, we're going to map through that whole array. And then we're going to say character, because why not? Just use character one more time. If this is confusing and we've had like too many instances of character, like we've just said it way too many times, feel free to change this to whatever you want. Data, item, it's just a parameter, so whatever you want to name it, go ahead. And then we're going to open up some regular parentheses there. And I'm going to make a div so that it doesn't throw that silly error at us saying that we need a key for each item in the array. And in order to get rid of that error right away, I'm actually just going to do key equals character.id. So this brings up a very important thing. You're probably like, wait, Chelsea, I used props.character data in here to map, but now that I'm mapping, why don't I need props? Like, why don't I have to use props in here? Why don't I have to use that word? And it's because you're mapping over all your array, and then you're creating this parameter right here. So you're going to want to use this parameter name for now on. You don't have to say props. You can just say character.id, character. Whatever you want to pull out of here. You still have to make sure that it's the same name that's in here because it's mapping through your array, and it's looking for each of your keys in your API. So make sure that it's still the same name, but you can use character. You can use this parameter because you're mapping through, and that's why you don't have to use props anymore because you're creating this map. It is still props, but anyway, I'm probably just confusing you more. Forget it. Just know that you don't have to use the props word anymore because you already used it to map. All right. So now that we have a div, let's pull out the character's name because I feel like that's really important. I'm going to make it an H2 just because I already have this H1 here, and I feel like the names aren't as important as the heading here. So I'm just thinking about that. And then we're going to surround it in curly braces because it's JSX. And then do character dot name. Make sure matches. And it is. In the API, it's name. So this will pull out Rick for number 0. For number 1, it's going to pull out Morty, and so on and so on and so on. And then I'm going to pull out an image for each person or character. They're not all people. Some of them are like different species than human. All right, and then source, and we're going to surround that in curly braces, and we're going to say character, and let's look and see what that is. Here it is, image. Image is not this URL. You can see it's not, like this is a JPEG, so that's going to be an actual picture. And it just looks like it goes to another API. So you don't want this one. You want the image one. So let's do that, character.image. And then I'm going to give these a class name because I'm going to do some styling later on. I'm just going to say character image, and I'm actually going to give this a class name as well. And I don't know, card container. because this is the container for every single card. And I'm going to give each card a border, that way it's easier to see. All right, so now that we have that, let's give this an alt because accessibility is very important. Rick and Morty characters. Or it's just one character. All right. And then let's do their, what else is in here? Let's do their species, and then let's do something fun. Let's do their location, because we're going to have to do something a little different with that. So let's make this a P tag, because I want this like underneath of their photo. It is going to be underneath their photo because I put their photo first. But we're going to say character dot species. I don't know why that went all wonky. And then we're going to make another P tag. And we're going to say location. All right. Now here's where it gets kind of cool. So if you look, you can see location is inside its own. Like you have to dig a little deeper. You have to open this up. And you see their location has a name and a URL that goes to another API. You can see it says -API. Or it's not really another API, it's just another endpoint. But anyway, you would have to make another Axios call. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to get the name. So you have to dig deeper. You'll see always, if you have to open it up here, that means you have to drill down to it. So that means you can't just do character dot location. No, that won't work. You have to do character dot location. I'm losing my place. There we go. Character dot location and then dot name. And I'm not sure why these things aren't popping up. I thought they would be popping up. Did I just not save it? Ah, there we are. Okay, sorry. I was supposed to be like showing you guys how things were popping up. I promised they were working all along. I just wasn't saving it. But here they are, and then you can see their location. All pops up. Everything looks good. All right. So now it's looking kind of like, this is kind of confusing because this is like the logo that I had here, and it's hard to separate between the stuff that we're getting from the API and the logo that I had here, or this image. So let's add some styling to this real quick, just to kind of differentiate between the two things. So let's go into app.css and let's add some styling to these class names that I have in character card. And I'm going to get rid of some of this CSS because we don't need like any of it. We only need that right there. And I'm just going to make some nice little notes for myself. I'm just going to say like, this is my CSS. Oh, CSS starts here. And then people will know where my CSS starts. Okay. So, what did I name these? Named it character card and character image. Okay. So, for the character card,
I am actually going to, no wait, what did I say? Card container. Goodness. Okay. For the card container, I'm going to give this a border because I want it to have a border. I want each card to look like it's separate. And I found this cool color that is perfect for Rick and Morty stuff. So I'm going to stick to that color. And then I'm going to do this border width, which I've never used before today. So, but I like it. I like the styling for this project. I'm not an expert styler, but I like how it does this. You can definitely, I like how it has this logo here and it looks like their bodies are, ending and the cards are starting. And yeah, but I thought that was cool. And then, let's see, for the character image, I'm just going to set these. Oh, not there. Character image. You guys don't have to style this if you don't want to. It's up to you. It's really just to make it look nicer and be able to read it easier. Okay, and it really doesn't look much different, but that's kind of what I wanted. All right, so now that we have the styling, I'm actually, I'm not going to commit. No, I'm not going to do that. But normally at this point, or probably way before this point, you would want to commit. Like here, you would want to commit. And when you're done with your character card, you would want to commit. So, yeah. And don't forget, if you are forking this, it won't really, no, it would make a difference. Just make sure that you make your own branch. Whether you're forking it or whether you're not forking the project, if you're following along, make sure you just make your own branch and push your commits up to there. All right. So we got this working. Bada bing, bada boom. We got all of our character stuff displaying, which is so awesome. Some of these things are really funny. I've never watched this show, but yeah. So feel free to enjoy your little character carousel here and go through and read some of the funny things that they have in their API. But we're going to move on to our custom hooks. And you guys went over a lot of this on whatever day today is, Wednesday. And basically, you can just copy and paste basically all the code, because you're just going to want to save it to local storage. That way, when a user reloads the page, it saves whether they're on dark mode or light mode, and you're going to want to make that custom hook to switch between dark mode and light mode. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to do some explaining on what things are actually doing in there, because I feel like that wasn't a big part of Wednesday. But for the most part, it's just copy paste and put it into your nav bar. And I switched some things around. I made the logo, like if you look in my solution code, I made the logo clickable to light mode and dark mode. So we're going to learn how to do that. I think that will be fun. About these custom hooks. So, first part of building out custom hooks is we're going to make a folder for them. We have a folder for our components. So let's put out a folder for our hooks. I'm just going to say, not hooks, hooks, or I say hooks. And then in here, we're going to create a new file, and we're going to make this use local storage.js. And then we're going to say another file. Use, oh, not custom hooks. That's what we're creating. Use dark mode. So these are both custom hooks. You have a local storage custom hook and a dark mode custom hook. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create the local storage custom hook first. And like I said, it's a lot of copy paste. So I'm just going to type it out, and I'm actually going to walk through with you guys kind of step by step. So we're going to import useState from React. And then we're going to export constant. We're going to say use local storage because that's the custom hook that we're going to export. And then here we're going to say it's a key and an initial value. Initial value. Okay, and then here we're going to make that a function, open that up. Okay, and then we're going to say const stored value. Set the stored value. If I can type. And we're going to make this our state. Boop, boop. Put this up. Okay. And in our state, we're going to say make this item equal to the window, to the wall. Just kidding. Okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of typing. And then I'm going to go back and try to explain some of this to you guys. JSON.parse it. Parse this item. Or, if not, I'm going to do initial value. Okay. And then we're going to create another function here. We're going to say set value equals the value set stored value to the value. Okay. Window dot local storage dot set item key JSON dot stringify value. Okay. Now we're going to get to our return. Oops. Oh my goodness. Return stored value, set value. All right. So let's start from the top. We're going to use the local storage. That's pretty self-explanatory. We're just here. We're just creating a custom hook. We're just saying, okay, this is the name of our custom hook. It's use local storage, and then we're creating it to be a function. And inside of this function, and we're passing in key and initial value. So this is going to be like the initial value of the local storage, so whatever it's set to initially, and then inside of your function, you're setting state to be this item. You're creating this constant, this variable of an item, and you're assigning that to this window.localStorage like get item key. All right, let me explain that. That's really what I wanted to explain. So I believe it's an application. If you go into your application, if you go into your DevTools, you inspect, you have to click this little arrow and click application, and then you go into local storage, Open it up, and you can see right now my dark mode is false. And that is because wait, why is that there? I think that's there from here. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case yet. But it is. It's there because it's still in local storage from this one. From my solution code. Because you can look at this one and see it's false. But if I click here, it's true. But yeah, that shouldn't be in there yet. But it is because it's saved in local storage. Which is good. That's what we wanted it to do. But anyway, we're going to go into the use dark mode. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm just going to copy and paste this one. Okay. So we're importing our use local storage hook in here because we want dark mode to use local storage. We want it to store in there. See, just like I was trying to show you guys, but epically failed. And then in here, if you change this, I have this commented out here for you guys, and I'm going to keep that there. But if you switch this to true, when you reload, oh, it won't work in here because I am not using it yet. But I'll show you guys later. I'm going to set this to false at first, but then we're going to come back and we're going to change it, and I'm going to show you guys what happens. Okay, so we set up or copy pasted basically our use local storage and our dark mode. So we want to use these custom hooks. They're in here, and we're using local storage one in use dark mode, but we're not using use dark mode anywhere. So let's go into our components, and we want this nav bar, right? But we haven't really set it up at all. And we want this nav bar to be able to have an icon that toggles between dark mode and light mode. So let's go ahead and import this use dark mode hook. Use dark mode from hooks dash use dark mode. It bothers me when it doesn't have .js, so we're just gonna do that. All right. And then in our div here, I'm gonna copy paste this stuff from here as well, and then I'm gonna go over it. Nope, that's not gonna work. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so here we're setting up this state for use dark mode, right? We're saying dark mode, set dark mode equals use dark mode, right? So this is our state for our use dark mode. And then here we're creating this event, this toggle event. And we're just saying prevent default, that way it doesn't reload the page every single time. And then set dark mode to the opposite of dark mode, which just means whatever dark mode is at right now, whatever that initial value is, so whether it's not really initial value, whatever the value is right at that moment. So if it's dark, change it to light. If it's light, change it to dark. I'm gonna write that down. It's light, change it to dark. If it's dark, spelling, change it to light. Okay, because this just means the opposite of. The exclamation just means opposite. And this is where I do this a little different. I implement this cool little icon. So I just have this class name for CSS sake, which I need to implement some CSS in here. But And then I just have this P tag up here just saying like this is where you need to click so that you can switch between dark mode and light mode. And then here is where in my on click, this is where I decide that I want this image instead of a button. So I just have a picture of Rick's face, and when you click on that, it toggles between dark mode and light mode. So before I get too far ahead of myself, I'm going to put some styling out there. I'm going to put some styling in here for this dark mode and the nav bar. And I'm going to copy and paste this. So I have it here if you guys want to go back and kind of look at the styling. This is, you need this. The nav bar is helpful because it styles the nav bar, but it's not like if you got rid of this, it's still gonna work. It's just gonna work. It's just gonna look ugly. It's just not gonna look like a nav bar. So this is what you really need for the dark mode, because this changes the background color and the text color to white. This is what just makes it really dark. So now that we have that styling going on, let's go back into our app.js and let's import. Oop, not that. I don't know why I commented that out. We already have it imported. So we want our nav bar before everything else because it's our nav bar. It goes at the top of the page. So let's just import it. And we won't need any props because we don't have any props in our nav bar. You can see no props. You're not doing any of that in here. This is just solely for our light mode and dark mode toggle. Oh, and then this right here is a template literal, or not template literal, oh my goodness, is a ternary, which is an if-else statement, basically, just shorthanded. And it's just saying, okay, is it dark mode right now? Is dark mode a thing? Like, is this matching the state up here? If it's not, then toggle the toggled, which is some stuff that is in CSS. And then if it is, then toggle. It's just, basically it's just saying here, is it dark? Then toggle it. If it's light, then just basically do the opposite of whatever it is. Toggle it so that it can be back and forth between light mode and dark mode. So I don't know what is, oh, I know what is wrong. I didn't add some styling in. Hold on. But it works. It works here. I'll show you. It should work. It's just ugly. So when you click Rick's face, switches. And let's look at this local storage. Local storage. And it's false because it's light. When you click, it's true. So if we go into here, hold on, let me fix this styling real quick because it's atrocious. Just gotta put this little image tag in here. Oh, why did that not work? I'm missing something else. Oh, yeah, I am. Oh, I have this here and I don't want this here. It's overriding stuff. There we go. Okay. Oh, look, it like did this weird thing to, what's happening? It made this like super small. All right, whatever. I'm gonna copy my styling because I don't really want to focus on that right now. It's fine. It's just a weird small image now, but that's fine. So if we go into here and we set this to true, you guys will notice that when I reload this, oh, okay, I'm a liar. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, okay. That didn't work the way I thought it would. It still says, oh, because it's off. All right, well, I guess it doesn't make a difference. I thought it would start. Oh, it does. It does. It just took a while. Okay. Oh, no. No, it doesn't. It's just because I switched it. Okay. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I thought that setting that would it would be into dark mode because you set it to true initially. But I guess not. I don't know. I thought for sure that's how that worked. But anyway, guys, okay. We have a working app here. We got everything. We got our custom hook. We got all of our people displaying. Yeah. So everything's working the way it should, except for this weird small image, which is fine. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it's helpful. I hope I did a decent job explaining. These custom hooks are still a bit wonky to me, and they don't always work the way that I think they should, but I hope that it was helpful and that you guys had fun coding along. I hope that you were able to code along. And if not, give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think and if there's anything that I can improve for next time. And yeah, we'll work from there. But good luck, guys, and thanks for watching and coding along.